big dummy.
I found his Facebook like page and look at what it says. Real G's moving silence. I guess he wasn't silent enough.
Hello, this is Kevin. This is Black Men Being Brutally Honest. And just to remind you before we get started, if you haven't, go below the screen, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and hit the like button. And now let's get to this story. Okay, this is Kemah Siverand, a young man who was a college football player for Texas A&M who played on both offense and defense. He later would transfer to Oklahoma State, where he would play a position as cornerback and special teams and get more playing time. Well, everyone who comes out of college isn't, it doesn't get immediate notice by the NFL. So he was going in as an undrafted rookie, and he got a call to come to the Seattle Seahawks training camp, where they get to prove themselves and try to play for practice for a spot on the team. Some guys make it, some guys don't. Well, for Kemah Siverand, his journey with the Seattle Seahawks ended last Tuesday. He was caught by team security for trying to sneak a young lady into his hotel room dressed as a player. Okay, now here's two things. Number one, he knew he was wrong because there has to be a policy against this, because they have the option. They can either make their own own accommodations off the premises, or they can stay at a hotel room paid for by the team. Now, when anything that's paid for by the team, company, whatever, you have to adhere to the rules that they lay out, because that protects the team itself. Because if anything happens under the team's quote unquote watchful eye, it could be in a lot of serious trouble. Now, bringing girls to hotel rooms, now sometimes that doesn't work out exactly for the athlete. Therefore putting your product in danger and putting the reputation of the team in danger itself. Because what if something had went wrong with this young lady and then she just started throwing out, sexual assault, rape? Then, it'd have been something serious for the team. You could get the team sued, and it'll cost them some money. So that's why rules are in place like that. If they choose to not stay in a hotel and make themselves, make their own accommodations, then they advise them that, look, conduct yourself because you still represent our team. Now, if Kemah Siverand had taken the option of being off the hotel room, he wouldn't have had to sneak no young lady anywhere dressed as a football player. I mean, shoot, he could have made those accommodations on his own, but he chose the other route. He chose to stay under, the team's circumstances, and he had to face that consequence. Now, he blew what could have been a multi-million-dollar opportunity for, himself and his family. And look, if he'd have made the team, he could have got as many women as he wanted like this. Like, there's no excuses for this. What excuse can you make? Man, I saw her in the grocery store and she swallowed a cucumber whole. Because that's everybody. Now let's talk about the social media response. Because that's exactly what it's been saying. People have been saying she must have been that throat goat. People have been saying some funny stuff. And, I was about to make this a dick police video because, the sisters are upset because, there's a white girl, and their gripe and their complaint is if it had been a black girl, then black men would have been all over the place, talking about how these young black girls are gold diggers and they ruin and they destroy careers and everything. Now, let me make a point to counter that point. Now, if it had been a black girl he'd have snuck in, the same thing would have happened. Here's what y'all need to do. Stop worrying about the people that you don't like. You're never going to win those people. If you want to debate them, then that's you, and you have to get ready for that. But, like I said, I've seen all the little slow taps talk about white girl. You let a white girl mess you up, and like all the bitter sisters, because happy sisters could care less. But I didn't make this a dick police video because basically I make dick police videos in the framing that the black man can date who they want, and it's none of anybody's business because you're surrounded by a bunch of hypocrites that don't care about interracial dating otherwise. As far as we know, this was just some random girl right here, some random girl he probably met somewhere randomly, and she probably said that I can get on my knees and smile like a donut for you, and he accepted it. He couldn't wait. He couldn't wait till he got the job. So he just throws everything away for some sex, because that's what it was going to be. It was going to be some sex. So now he looks stupid. So all of the sisters and the slow taps and everybody who's roasting this man, I can't say too much about that. It's like, it's embarrassing for him, because then he tried to sneak her in like a foot dressed as one of the team. And it's like, what the hell? I'm like, this is very easy to notice. Like, team security caught this guy. The same team security that is always around the team. I bet they got the video too. Like, look at this stupid motherfucker, right? Like, for real. It's like, this is going to be a funny story told by those guys and probably a lot of the Seattle Seahawks team members for years to come. The only way, he's going to live this down. It's no problem. He's going to live this down, and some NFL team is going to pick him up, and people are going to forget about this. That's just the way it goes, but he's going to have to wait for a little bit. Here's the point. When you have things on the line, like a multi-million-dollar career, you do not mess that up for some of that punani. Okay, regardless of what her race is. I mean, seriously, he could have snuck a woman of any race in that hotel room, and it would have still been the same consequence. The race part really is against him, because I mean, like, I don't think he's the only one that's ever done this. Ever. Don't convince me of that. You never hear of any other. You never hear this happening. I mean, sometimes it could be black guys, sometimes it could be white guys. But, seeing my position as a black man in this country, it's going to be tough for this man to bounce back. Like I said, he's going to have to lay low for a little while, and some team is going to pick him up. But this is always going to be a stain on him, because they know that he probably get weak for pussy. And that's just all there is to it. Now, for those of you women who love to complain about all these NFL athletes get these multi-million-dollar contracts and going to white women, here's what you need to do. If you have an athletically gifted son and it's time for him to go to college, I will strongly push that you condition your kid to want to go to an HBCU. The acronym for HBCU is Historically Black College and University. See, he went to Texas A&M, and then he went to Oklahoma State. Plenty of Barbie type, doll type women, plenty of what y'all like to call Becky's there. Like, just throwing it at him constantly. And that's all this young man knew. At HBCUs, guess what's at HBCUs? Beautiful black sisters everywhere, in all kinds of organized types. Like, you think about it, cheerleaders are black. The dancing girls in the bands are black. I mean, and there are plenty of beautiful, educated sisters that got their nose in their books. Y'all want to send these guys to these colleges for this NFL grab, and then they end up like Kemah Siverand. End up with because that's all he knows. I guarantee it. But see, trying to disguise her, trying to sneak her into the hotel room, he knew he was wrong. Because he tried to disguise her, which means that there's an integrity issue, because you're automatically trying to deceive your superiors. So yes, you look stupid, and you look like you have a penchant for breaking rules. So that's going to make it very difficult for him to get picked up by another team. Unless he's just this 5-star shining athlete. It's like he came down from the heavens, led all the teams he's ever been on the championships. That's the only way he's going to get around that. Otherwise, if you're just another guy, good luck. The moral to the story is, if you have an opportunity, put shit to the side that can ruin it. Like a lot of ball players, they smoke weed in the off season. They don't smoke weed while they're on or have to get back in. You know why? Because that stuff could mess them up. Same thing with girls. Like, when they say it's not unusual it is not an unusual practice for football players to isolate themselves during training camp so they can concentrate on honing their talents so they can win that Super Bowl. Okay, here what makes me mad about this entire situation, besides the stupidity of the young man who gave it all up just for some cheap experience. They say incidences like this that happen from team to team during training camps are never supposed to get out to the media, which means that someone had to leak this because they were all mad and butthurt that yet another young black athlete goes for a white woman. And this is no doubtedly the motivation behind it. See, they keep putting this stuff in the media to keep the divide between black men and black women, because they know this is an automatic trigger for black women to see young black men who have the potential for millions to go and get them a woman of another race. That's why every time there's a divorce, there's some kind of sexual assault thing, and it happens with a black man and another race, then the women, they don't have any sympathy or any empathy or anything for these young men. The only black woman that really feels sorry for this young man is his mom at this point. So anyway, it's just that I hate that he embarrassed himself like this, because now he is an object for black women to be angry with black men, when in fact most black men are married to black women, dating black women. Even the pro athletes, most of the black pro athletes do have black wives. This is an overblown thing in the media, and it does kind of need to stop. But as for Kemah Siverand, yeah, that was pretty stupid. He knew what was at stake, and shit. Like, it's gonna take a long time, but hey, he'll bounce back one day, and maybe it'll not be what he wants, but hey, it's the consequences of stupid actions. So anyway, this is Kev. I'm pretty much done here for now. Thank you for your support. As always, like, share, subscribe. Long live the habitual line steppers. In Kev we trust. Goodbye.